I saw also the question about a country which has really no possibilities to control the corridor when launching or something like that. And of course, we are facing here in the exploration of outer space, we are facing more an objective, let's say, discrimination rather than a specific action of any state against any other state. I should say, as a former chair of the legal subcommittee, probably I'm too optimistic about that, but I had no idea that anyone can just say no because the delegation didn't like some ideas. No, I think that was not the expression of cooperative approach to the issues of space exploration and legal regulations of it. I think that nobody is willing to really limit the opportunities of other states. They don't have them. But if they want to have, they should be given the opportunity. And that's why we have this non-discrimination clause in the Outer Space Treaty in paragraph 2, Article 1, which is very important. Because if they want, if they can join. And in the beginning, we had 2 nations. Now we had more nations. I don't know how many, but more. Certainly, not only launching, but also those who really actively participate in the cooperation, using also, as I said, international organizations, like in our case, the European Space Agency.
Thank you so much. And really that does open up a lot of opportunities. Of course, now we in the committee, we have 102 member states in the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space. It started with just a handful and has grown. And in these last number of years has nearly, we've increased, I think, 25 members in just the last 10 years alone. And so, you know, this is a dramatic increase. It's shown that there is interest of states, even those that don't have a capability right now, that this is a mode that they can cooperate internationally. They can mobilize their people to work with other states, that they can contribute to space programs of other states. And like you said, regional, inter-regional organizations, European Space Agency is one. There's a growing desire to bring more countries into the fold. We in the Office for Outer Space Affairs, of course, have our project, our program on the Access to Space for All, which we've made spacefaring nations out of the launch of Kibo Cube satellites from the International Space Station with our partner JAXA. Really important way to promote scientific development, to promote educational opportunities in states, and to also understand this role of governance at the national level, of a way to put in place systems that allow for keeping good people within those countries and giving them opportunities to build space industry in countries, I think is one of the ways that we can share those benefits of space science and technology. We all are users of space science and technology, but then when we really go to the next level of contributing to those, I think is really important as well. And with that, I'd really like to thank you so much. Let's see if we have another question you address with this.
Yeah, we have a question on space resources, but I would like to invite that person. That's a very interesting, and you might know what is my approach to that. The last question on the chat.
Exactly. Please, if you'd be so kind. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, if I have time. Yes.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
First of all, I would like to turn to the idea of 2 important events next year. And one of them is the Luxembourg preparatory, let's say, expert event on space resources. And then we have a UN conference. I hope there will be a possibility for people to follow, to listen, and so on. So if it is, in fact, they can also monitor that exchange of views. But on the specific issue raised in the chat, I would like to say that, well, I was thinking about Artemis Accords as something which is coming from outside, and because of that, many people think negatively and so on. First, Mike, you know that I said, in order to say some words about the document, you should read it. And then when we read it, then we decided that, and I think now more and more people share that view, that we have some pillars that can be fundamental for the future governance of lunar activities, of activities in space resources. So Artemis Accords is one of them. So whether it is US-centric, I don't know. It is US that proposed the Artemis Accords, and it really contains a lot of material, a lot of notions that are very important for the space activities, and were not developed or appropriately dealt with in the Outer Space Treaty. But the main, let's say, main beginning of that is that the Outer Space Treaty is absolutely observed by all, and together with the fundamental documents of the UN, like UN Charter and so on. So with that, I'm absolutely secure that everything will be okay. And then we have certain issues that have to be developed through a very careful discussion, and we hope to get some views on that during the conferences next year. But I think that all of these, like safety zones, like the conflicting, like, things like that, you probably can name them right now, Mike, because you are secretary to this working group and our main supporter. So we can discuss about them. And I think there are a lot of good arguments there. First of all, to highlight the issue, to highlight the necessity to discuss this issue, and then some set of possible solutions to this issue. And that's why, together with other pillars of the international law and policy, like Moon Agreement, like Hague Building Block, and so on, for those who want to know better about that, please refer to the documents on the website of the UNOOSA, and then you will see that all of them can be really instrumental in preparing the future document framework for governance in outer space activities, including and especially space resources.
Absolutely, and thank you so much. And it truly is a pleasure.
It was very diplomatic, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's very diplomatic, because honestly, this is, and I must say that it is truly an honor to work with you and Professor Freeland, also, who is here as well, going to share some words in a few moments on these particular issues that, like I said in my presentation, have been with us since the very beginning. This notion of free exploration and use of outer space, and this prohibition on a national appropriation of the moon and other celestial bodies is really at the heart of the debate in the context of the space resources. And we are also very happy to have on the program as well Gabe Sweeney from the Department of Commerce, who was one of the architects of the Artemis Accords, to share some words as well. And it really is, it's just a real pleasure to be able to work in this particular area, because this is the most forward-looking in a way, of many of our space activities, of how do we come to grips with the Outer Space Treaty, and then to find a way that we can work together to make this activity a possibility. Space resource activities, the sustainment of scientific missions, of human endeavors in outer space will require the use of space resources, the utilization in situ, as those that like to talk about this. So, and it really is, it rests on information sharing, coming to a way that we can coordinate on how those activities are undertaken. We have, and we're lucky in our program as well to have speaking with us on, I think tomorrow, regarding potentially shared infrastructure on the moon, how this might be useful, how to work it all, how to understand what the technological possibilities are, and how do we come to grips with them from a legal standpoint. And so the Artemis Accords is a landmark instrument that has shaped the understanding of what it means to, of course, engage in these activities. And for those partnering states, they have come to this agreement on the principles of how to undertake these. And we will hear more about that as well. But this is an opportunity for us to also understand, is this the only way potentially? We also know that the International Research Station, the Lunar Research Station of China, with its partner, the Russian Federation, and its partners, they will be also looking at the same place in the South Pole of the Moon, looking for these resources as well. And so these groups of states who are engaging in these activities will have to come together somehow to coordinate these activities so that there's a minimization of harmful impacts to this. And we are all very excited to be able to hear from both of these camps about this as well. And we'll look forward to hearing Gabe Swinney, as well as look forward to Yu Shu's presentation on the last day on moon bases being open on the basis of reciprocity and how that might actually look and play out in practice. All of these activities finding themselves under the Outer Space Treaty. Again, it's my pleasure, of course, to open up this first day of the conference, to welcome everybody. To also apologize for a bit of the technical issues and everything. I hope that we can have this set up a little bit. I'll work on it a little bit here to set it up so that it's a bit more free-flowing. We will go ahead and take a bit of a break until 12:15, if that is acceptable to all. We're a bit ahead of schedule. We've had our opening speech from the current chair of the legal subcommittee. She wasn't able to join. Hopefully she can join in these next days and provide some words from the perspective of international cooperation in the peaceful use of outer space, in the Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space, specifically the legal subcommittee. And we also have a number of other former chairs. A little bit later today, we will hear our good friend Tari Bersibe, who is also a former chair of the legal subcommittee, who I see here as well. Thank you so much again. And so with that, I would like to go ahead and make a pause, have a coffee. We will adjourn back at 12:15 Central European time. That will be in about 20 minutes. With that, I would like to thank you all again for your attendance, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Thank you so much.